Your journey to the unknown begins now. Have your boarding passes ready.
Hello and welcome to the Supernatural Station, the only train ticket to take you further and further into the unexplained. I'm your host, Jaron Daniels, and I'm joined with my twin brother, Roman Daniels. How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm excited.
Awesome.
It's Saturday. We get a chance to do this again, which we love doing this, and we get to talk all things spooky today. And the reason I say that is we have a guy, David, that we met through Phenomicon, which was, if you haven't been to it, you got to go. But we talked to him over there and had some awesome conversations. We found out he's a ghost investigator. He's been involved with other groups, and we had a long conversation and just swapped stickers and did all the things. And his name's David Sandoval. Check him out. His group is called Spooky Utah, and we're here to talk to him today about his experiences at some of the investigations he's been at. How you doing today, David?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Hey, we're excited to
Awesome.
have you, man. We're doing good. So, I have been talking with you a little bit just in between, and I've been watching some of your TikTok stuff. And what I like about your approach is you kind of look at the history of the building and you really delve into like a lot of the reasoning behind things, I feel like. And I think that's a really cool way to do it because a lot of people, they just kind of show up and they're just like, was that you? And it's like, was that who? And you're over there like, no, the lady was Nancy and she had blue shoes and she hung herself and like you kind of figure out the whole thing. And I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
it's all about looking at the humanity. Like these were people before, for the most part, as far as we can tell, and I like that too. I like the fact that you honor the history. Like you look at
Hmm.
like you look at everything. You look at who built it, like how it was built, when it was built, why it was built, and then what all kind of transpired with these places. And so you get the whole lowdown, and I like that part. I think that's cool.
And I think you're younger than us, and so I think it's cool that you're doing what you're doing because you're bridging the gap of, those old shows that we grew up on, Taps, Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Lockdown. I'm sure you've watched some of those as well, David, but um I guess what got you into this? Like how did it all start for you and what made you kind of go down this rabbit hole? Because it is a rabbit hole, as you know.
Yeah, thank you for the compliments on that stuff. But yeah, I grew up, my dad, he'd always have a ghost show on, whether it be Ghost Adventures or anything else. The first one I really remember was Ghost Adventures, though, seeing all those old episodes, before when they had, the main three, Nick, Aaron, Zach. And then I would just look around for different haunted places where I lived, and my brother would, whether he was lying or not, he would tell me some haunted stuff he would see. I remember we went and snuck into the old elementary school that got closed down,
Hmm.
and me and my friends kind of scared ourselves on some stuff. We're like, oh, what was that? That kind of stuff. My first real experience was in Washoe Club in Nevada. Um, a lot of history in that little town alone. But I had an experience there. We were just doing the day tour, so it wasn't even an investigation, just a day tour walking around, getting some orbs and pictures. Thought it was a little weird. I was like, maybe these orbs things, maybe they're real, because I always thought they were fake on TV. Like, what's an orb? And nobody knows. People still have their own opinions. But I'm going to take a picture of my dad. I still have the picture. He's like, hey, go take a picture of me sitting at the poker table or whatever. So I'm going to take a picture. He walks behind me, and I feel like, kind of like little taps on my back, but it feels like ice cold, like through my shirt.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I take the picture like regular. I'm not gonna freak out like how they do on the show, run out the building or whatever. But I was about like 15, maybe 16. And I just asked him like, "Hey, did you touch me when you went behind and walk and go sit down?" He's like, "No, I don't think so." And I told him what happened. He's like, "Oh, maybe I did." And I'm like, "I don't think you did. And I think if you did, it wouldn't have felt." I'm like, "If you did, would you have touched me and like tapped my back multiple times like that?" And he's like, "No." like, okay, then that wasn't you. So it must have been, something that wasn't there, that wasn't explained. And so that's how I really knew that I wanted to stay in this and knew that this was real for me.
Mm-hmm.
Took about 7 years to actually go on my first investigation from there. Um, I got married in 22, and me and my wife started going shortly after. We went on the public ones, local ones, Grim Ghost tours. And it was at Fort Douglas. I don't know if you know Fort Douglas downtown at the U.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But we went there. Didn't really get much. And we're like, yeah, it's cool. We'll try again. So they were doing Fear Factory, and I was like, okay, I've been to Fear Factory as a haunted house. I want to see what this place is about. The supernatural side of it, like after hours.
Yeah.
So we went, and we didn't really, nothing crazy happened. Just kind of went, did our thing. It was like February, so it was freezing. And then the next day we're doing evidence review. We're just laying in bed, earbuds in and stuff like that. And my wife's like, "Hey, is this a EVP?" And she didn't grow up with any of that. She grew up with no previous ghost hunting, anything. Didn't watch the shows, wasn't into that kind of stuff. She kind of went for me because she was interested and we would watch the shows together, but before me, no experience in that at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was excited, and I'm like, yeah, let me hear. And so our second ever investigation, we're getting clear EVPs. So we were like, yeah, this is fun. This is our little, it almost became like an addiction. We went on every single one that year. Like we didn't miss a single one that Grimm's did. We got a ton of evidence that year. Those are all on the YouTube page. It'll say like, first ever EVP or the first EVP at Fear Factory or something like that. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty loud. We weren't doing anything. We were just walking around recording too. We didn't even know what we were doing. So it was pretty cool to get that. So that was our first official start. And then it kind of snowballed from there. We've been on, I don't even know how many so far.
And for those just stepping in, and sorry to interrupt if so, but for those that are listening, and I think our audience knows this, but what is EVP as far as you can tell? And then also, if you don't mind diving into the one you remember the most, if you could, and maybe we can try to find it and share it on the show.
So EVP stands for electronic voice phenomenon, and it's basically how a spirit or ghost will try to talk to you. A lot of the times it'll come off as a whisper, but sometimes you do get lucky and you will get a full-on audible voice that has some kind of tone to it too. And that's where people will call them, like, they'll go into different classes. Like class A is usually where you'll get like tone, like how we're talking right here.
Yeah.
And class A is the one that everybody chases, where it's like a full sentence, full voice. But most of the time they come off as a whisper. I would say a memorable one would probably be, I don't know, it's tough because there's the ones that we've heard with our own ears, and those ones are always like amazing when you hear them with your own ears.
Yeah.
And then
Tell us about that one. Like, yeah, what happened there?
Okay, so I'll give you a memorable one and then one that I actually caught on video. Because of course, once you turn off your camera and you're sitting there, you're gonna get the most activity because
That's
there's nothing
always
rolling.
because they
Yeah,
know
that's
there's some intelligence there. What is up with that? That's not
yeah,
just ghostly stuff. That's Sasquatch related. It's
Everything.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's weird. But yeah, keep
yeah.
going.
I have a cool non-EVP story about cameras being off and getting some crazy stuff later.
Awesome.
But so cameras were off. It was at this place in Wisconsin. It was this old church, and we're in the school. So it was a church, school, and where the nuns would live and stay. So we were in the school, and we're in the little cellar area, and then we full on kids like talking on the floor above us, and I was the youngest one there. And there's no kids. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I was kind of like, I was more scared for intruders
Mm-hmm.
because I was with strangers, and I'm like, okay, I was kind of trusting them a little bit too, and they're great people. But it was like, I don't know this area. I'm not familiar with anything out here.
Yeah.
Um, I'm like, are you sure nobody's breaking in? You know, that somebody's not trying to sneak in here too. But nobody was there. We were hearing kids talk, a girl and a guy, but they sound like maybe 10. They're like talking, playing, and we have we have recordings, but they didn't come out because we were in. They said it was like a cold storage, but then they also said the nuns would put the kids in there for timeout and make them stick their hands out because it was weird. There was like circles cut into the door, and I even asked them like, "What are these for?" And they're like, "Oh, they think they were for they would make the kids put their hands out so they can hit them with rulers." And who really knows?
Yeah.
Um, I would a memorable one I would say for EVPs at Benson there was a bridge. Um, I had my tripod mounted and Sarah. I don't know if you guys remember Sarah from Grimm's at
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenon.
Yeah, she was nice. She was awesome.
Yeah, so she walks by a little like a minute after we set it up to go to the schoolhouse. She waves at the camera, and then like within a minute, you hear a little girl say hi.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
so it was whether she was saying hi to Sarah, or just saying hi to the camera, or however else it works in the spirit world. But it's a very clear like hi. So that was a pretty memorable one for us.
Wow. Geez, man, do you remember kind of like could you hear any conversation from the male and female kids that were upstairs? Like, could you understand what they were saying at all? Anything like that?
No, it just sounded like they were like playing.
Oh
Because
man.
yeah, it was crazy. And then it sucks. The recorder I have, and a lot of teams have similar ones where you'll push record and it'll say please wait, and it'll do that for like maybe 10 to 20 seconds before it actually records. I did that, and then we hear a super loud like moan in that same room we were standing in. Once I push record, I look down and it still says please wait, and I'm like, that would have been a crazy capture, but
Yeah.
it didn't come out. So
And that was audible. You heard that. Everyone
yeah,
heard
heard
that.
that with our own ears. Yeah.
Wow. Well, what's crazy about you're traveling to Wisconsin for this. Like that's when you said that, I was like, wait, did you just say that? So I think that that's really cool that you're out here like really like taking it on and trying to figure this out. And I didn't want to glaze over this because I'm really into the history of the buildings as well. And I know Roman is too, but the Washoe Club is definitely a hot spot for this stuff. Obviously, Ghost Adventures, the original group, we loved watching them as well. Used to go there a lot and they caught a lot of cool stuff. Even I think even Paranormal Lockdown went when it was just Nick and that other girl, and I loved that show as well.
Hmm.
But as far as that place goes, I know it's like an old Western saloon and everything. And if somebody was touching you, did you, when that did happen, when the cold hand touched you a couple times or poked you or whatever, did you feel like it was, like threatening, or did you feel like it was just trying to get your attention? Like, and that was your first experience ever, right? With a ghost situation. Like, did you have hauntings growing up at all as a kid or anything in your house? Those are the two questions.
Um, I'll kind of answer in reverse order. No, we didn't grow up with any hauntings. I just remember my dad watching the shows.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's always been into history, and I get that from him. So like I have tons of like historic stuff, like just collectible. I have money from 200 years ago.
Oh,
Ah,
cool.
So the history, he liked the history of it. We grew up in California, so he loved the like Alcatraz and all that stuff out in the Bay Area. Um, and then for the other part of the question, it didn't feel threatening. It felt more like just like, hey, I'm here,
mm-hmm.
just getting my attention. And then we also did go back the next year to Virginia City, but we went to the Mackey Mansion.
Oh, nice.
And my mom, she was sitting there was a chair in the front where we are doing the tour, or before the tour started, and she said she felt like somebody was trying to push her off the chair.
Mm.
And the tour guide said, "Oh, that's kind of like that's not out of the ordinary. A lot of like moms will
Mm-hmm.
get touched by the children here." And she said it's just the children kind of playing with the moms. My mom was not into any paranormal stuff at all, though, so that was her one and done experience. But Yeah, so it was pretty cool that we went there twice, and as a family, we got an experience twice. But Washoe was definitely something that I'm hopefully within the next year get to do an investigation there.
And you mentioned your wife didn't grow up into this stuff either, if I remember. And so was she from here and then in Utah, and was she, I guess, what was her first reaction to something that way, is like something supernatural? Did she get really freaked out and not want to do it, or did it like fuel her too? Because I remember you kind of mentioned it felt like a drug, but that was after you guys were doing it for a while. Did that freak her out pretty bad and you had to like convince her like, hey, I'm interested in this, or was she just open to doing it too?
So yeah, she's from out here. She basically lived out here her whole life. We started with the shows, and she found the shows very interesting. But then again, it's TV. You never know what's as real as they portray. I mean, I'm not saying any of it's fake, but they're also getting these places where it's just three people in one building versus when you do a public one, it's like 30 people in the same building. So they have a better chance. They have way more equipment to use. So their chances of getting evidence is 100 times higher than, mine going on a public tour.
Yeah.
Um, she seemed interested in it when we started watching. She seemed like it kind of caught her attention, and we had went to for our honeymoon. We did Vegas, and we stopped by the Zach Bagans Museum out there.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice. I want to check
Yeah,
that.
so
Yeah.
she really liked that museum. It was a crazy good experience for her, and then we ended up going back a couple, like 6 months later. We went back again, but within a couple weeks of that was when we did our first investigation, and she really enjoyed herself, and it was really fun. And then the next month was Fear Factory, and that's when we got our EVP. So then it was kind of just kept rolling from there.
Yeah.
So did it take her some time to be a believer, or was she instantly like, okay, there's something weird here and I can't explain it, and obviously it's probably ghostly, paranormal.
At first, we were kind of iffy because a lot of it was new. Like I knew from what I knew from the show, so I had a spirit box going into it.
Oh, nice.
Um, and that was all I had. I had no other equipment besides one SB7, and so we took that to Fort Douglas, and we got nothing all night. So we're like,
Mhm.
maybe this isn't as real as I knew it was real for being touched before, but maybe this isn't working for us, or maybe this spot isn't as haunted as everybody says. So then we tried Fear Factory, and I think because we got the EVP on our second ever one, it was kind of easy to let her know, and for her to let me know, like, hey, this is real. We want to keep doing this. Um, and then we got more like at Saltaire. I think we went to Saltaire later on that year, and we got like screams in the bathroom. We got the trash can moving. We got
Jeez.
the stall moving in there.
Do you remember when Solitaire was built? Do you have the idea, like, time frame on that?
He did a video on it.
Yeah, I have it
It's like the
saved on
1920s or
here.
something, or
I thought it was late
1919.
1800s, but it
Okay.
might
Yeah,
be
it was late 1800s. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was
like 1897 or something. But it used
1893, and then
okay.
it burned down in
That's what I was.
25.
Yeah, I was thinking the 20s because I knew they had to like rebuild it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they rebuilt it in 26. So yeah, they tried to rebuild it really quick because of how popular it was. But then the second one kind of failed because World War II came around and everything. So kind of people weren't dancing as much. People weren't going out and having fun because all the men were at war and everything. So
Yeah. And the
Can you
women had to
imagine?
work.
And can you
yeah,
imagine back then they used to go swimming on the Great Salt Lake?
I
That's so
know.
nasty.
yeah,
I've seen the pictures. They're out there swimming. I'm like, you guys are
We just went
crazy.
sailboating as a kid, right? On the Great Salt Lake on a sailboat, and I got a salt rash on my skin. Like
Yeah.
literally, I had to shave off salt off my skin, and it was like burning my skin. So I'm like, I can't imagine. I mean, I would be down. They used to wear those suits that they in the waters, but
Yeah.
I don't think they were like
yeah.
shirtless and all that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, no, it's an interesting. It's got a lot of history, and that's crazy. So there must have been like there's poltergeist activity there, though. That's weird because I haven't heard of anyone that's had poltergeist activity there. But if it moved a trash can and there's like
Yeah.
some aggressive stuff going on, And maybe it's not aggressive. Maybe it's just trying to get a hold of you. Like that's always the question, right? But um I guess what I wanted to ask you is since you guys have been doing these investigations with the two of you, right? You're both pretty invested in it together. Have you had situations at home now after doing ghost investigating? Like, have you had a haunting at home now that you've had to like maybe like pray against, whatever your belief system is? Have you ever had something that you've sort of been like, man, should we keep doing this?
Not here. We just
Yeah.
we've moved the past year, but at our old house, we did have something. It was very weird. Like, so it started before we started going on investigations, but it kind of continued through. Um, I personally have never felt anything attached to me. I don't know if it's just that I kind of close myself off from that, and I feel like anything like kind of deflects off me. And I've been told that by some people too, that I'm very closed and I keep everything shut.
Mm-hmm.
But we did at my old house in West Valley. It was weird. It was like, have you ever played Phasmophobia?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it was like, it was almost like a mimic. Um,
Oh, wow.
we would hear my mom call, like my mom would call me, and I literally would go upstairs and be like, you're calling me, and she's like, no, I wasn't. And I kind of would be like, okay, maybe she forgot she called me or whatever. But then my siblings heard me calling them, and I was at work, and I'm like, yeah, that definitely wasn't me. I've been at work all night, so um, that was very strange. And then my younger brother, he heard knocking on his window like at two in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and the backyard was weird. So it was the first floor, but the backyard sloped down, so you would have had to be on a ladder to knock on the window or reach it.
Well,
It wasn't even like, oh, maybe if you're tall enough. It was, unless you're 10 foot tall, you're not reaching that window to knock.
Oh
yeah.
wow.
So yeah, and then we would get like whiffs of like cigarette smoke in the house in like certain parts of it, and nobody smoked at home. So it was weird. It was definitely an experience that, like, it didn't carry over to the new house, thankfully, but
Mm-hmm.
we were kind of interested to see how it all would have played out if it did follow us.
Well, if you heard any of our stories from the past, we had something like that too, a mimic in our old house. And it used to mimic my stepdad. We don't need to get way too into it, but my mom would be like, getting ready for work and she would hear a cough or he would clear his throat a lot because he was a smoker since he was like 12. So, and he quit recently, which is great, but they're really happy about that. But it was crazy because yeah, you'd hear this, she would hear it and she'd be like, "Chris, are you back? What's going on?" And he was gone, long gone. And then when we were younger, my grandma, same thing. She would go out, go to the store or whatever, and we're sitting there playing PlayStation 1. This is dating us. Crash Bandicoot,
Tomb
Tomb
Raider, the
Raider.
first one, yeah.
And we're like 12 years old, just having a good time. And all of a sudden, maybe we were a little older than that. Maybe we were 13 or something. But yeah, we'd be playing, and my grandma, we'd hear my grandma, and we're like, oh, she came back from the grocery store. So we'd run up the stairs, and she wasn't there. So there was definitely something
And
mimicking.
it was always like a cough, like it was clearing its
I
throat all the
know,
time. That was weird.
but it was a different sounding cough for each. So it was like it was just doing that to mimic. Definitely. So I definitely concur with what you're saying. It's weird how that happens, but and that brings me to another point. And I didn't want to cut you off because I know you're going to say something too, I think. But
That's okay.
what do you think is happening? Because you get the whole this is a residual energy, right? And that's a pretty big one. I feel like that happens a lot, especially in old buildings. But then you get the whole that thing answered me. Something actually answered me directly, and it's doing something different than what it would be doing if it was from back in those days or whatever. So, what do you think those two are? Do you think they're both the same? Do you think that we have a chance to be um in the present at that same moment that somebody's doing a ghost investigation if we're a ghost, if you will? Or do you think that they're two different things? Like one's something else, mimicking a ghost
That's a
or
big
something.
question.
I don't know. I know that's a weird question, but
No, I kind of like those questions. I
yeah.
try to start it on TikTok where I just get people talking about it. I like those
Yeah.
deep questions where it really is a by person response.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe that they are kind of separate. Like in the case of Fear Factory. So it was a cement factory for a lot of years before it got shut down. And my belief is like, let's say, you're one of those factory workers that you work there 50 years of your life. Even if you didn't die there, I feel like your energy, you can't destroy energy, you can't get rid of it, and it's always there.
Yeah.
So like let's say your energy is still in that factory working after you die, and you hear a tap or a bang. I don't think it's something like specifically doing that to get your attention. It could just be somebody's energy working how they would have worked 50 years ago. And then you also do get the intelligent ones, or the ones that stick around because something traumatic happened. And that's the one that I think is the ones responding to you, or actually calling out and almost reaching out to you.
That's
Like
interesting.
like you think they're the ones that are stuck. Like they don't know what to do because they had such a traumatic experience that they don't know how to get to whatever the afterlife really is. Like, do you think they're kind of stuck in between that?
I think there's a middle ground. I think that it's whether they're choosing to stay or they're stuck, or however it works in the afterlife. But
Yeah.
I believe that, like, at Fear Factory, there's a catwalk. I don't know if you guys have been through the
I've seen
haunted
it. Yeah, I've
house.
been to the
Yeah.
haunted houses. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
The main catwalk. There was one dude specifically who died from up there. He fell into a big boiling thing of chemicals below.
Mm.
They don't know exactly why or what happened, but they'll hear walking up there, and that could be the residual energy too. But then it's not all the time, and sometimes you will hear some intelligent stuff from up there, like some intelligent like knockings, or you'll see shadows. I feel like those ones where it's the traumatic event, maybe it could still be residual, but it's like a traumatic residual where it's
Mhm.
something so bad happened to this person that their energy's kind of stuck in that place, even if they
Yeah.
don't want it.
I think it's interesting because there's a lot like in our own experience, and then also the stuff research we've done, and even just dealing with like mediums and psychics and stuff. It definitely seems like there are people that have passed on and they're coming back and they can kind of show themselves and do things to show themselves. But then that residual thing is so strange to me because I'm like, is our energy like that powerful? Because like there's stories you hear where it's like you go to this place at 3 a.m. and the same thing happens every night at 3
Hmm.
a.m. Like you see this like floating figure with a light in its hand or something, right? Like, is our energy that powerful that it will just imprint forever and it just keeps
And
going?
and
Like, what is
why?
your thought on that? Like,
Well, and
it's
why
so
too?
weird.
Like my question is why? Because like we're all like we're sharing this same space. Obviously, this is a new build we're living in. You're living in that. This is Roman's townhome. But like if it's an old building, let's say, right? It's weird. Like why is it that it's this one little girl ghost entity? Why isn't it that it's like, oh, the guy that was doing paperwork on that same, the guy that was hitting the
Right.
hammer? Like why does it have to be that one? I think there is a traumatic aspect to it in my opinion. But yeah, where are you at with it?
I think it depends. I mean, this was all like native land before too, so we never know with
Yeah.
that stuff either. Um, I turn to Fear Factory a lot because a lot's happened there, but they also have a little girl there too that they have no documented deaths for.
Hmm.
And they attribute it to either she was when it was a homeless encampment that she came from there, or that she's something potentially darker pretending to be a little girl.
Yeah.
Um, and I think like kind of like with us, we live in a new build too.
Hmm.
If we had like a random little girl spirit here, it'd be very concerning,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to like, okay, what happened here? But then it also could be on the other side of, is this even really a little girl? Like,
Hmm.
I think a lot of people don't entertain that possibility a lot because it might scare them,
Yeah.
if they're dealing with something darker. But I think not everything has to have a traumatic attachment either. It could also maybe be attached to the person, and they
Yeah.
not even know. It could be an
Good
old
thought.
family member returning in a form that, let's say, they were happy, or like some people return to that childlike state if they maybe had a traumatic life or didn't have a great upbringing.
Yeah.
So I mean, the possibilities are endless, and we won't know until it's our turn.
Yeah. I like that you say that. That's so true. We're always like, it's like you feel like you're getting some answers, and then it just gets way more jumbled, and there's always like then it's endless possibilities for sure.
Yeah.
So
What I think's weird, right? We talked to Jamie, my old coworker, and she had some weird experiences in this house that they built. Her dad built it. You remember talking with
yeah,
her? And in the backyard at night, something would trigger the camera. I don't know why this popped in my head out of nowhere. We haven't talked to her in a long
it's been a
time.
long time.
But it just this is how it works. Like you talk to somebody, it connects to somebody else. It's weird, but um, something would like knock on their sliding door in the backyard, and it would trip the camera. It would trip the sensors because he was a dentist. It was like they were wealthy when she was younger, and something would mess with the sliding door and the sensors, and then when you would go to that door, nothing would be there, but she would hear an audible little girl laugh and something along the lines of a little girl laugh or a little girl whatever something, and eventually they were digging in the backyard and she had a vision when she was dreaming one time that this little girl was riding a bike and she got like attacked by something. Remember that?
A little
A
tricycle.
little
Yeah.
tricycle.
Hmm.
And then when they were digging in the backyard to do some land like repairs and stuff, it was up on a hill and it was like kind of on the west side of Utah, kind of towards like Harriman, but further on the corner left. And there was a tricycle
A
right there.
rusted old
Rusted
tricycle
old
that was
tricycle in the
buried.
dirt.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she like, it came full circle. But I guess the reason I'm bringing that up is that one almost wasn't residual in a way because it was almost like it was trying to tell. Maybe that was her path. Once that was unearthed, she was able to pass on or something.
Or
I don't
something.
know.
Yeah.
But it's weird, right? It's like, I think, I guess what I'm getting at is what's your reasoning for doing this? And are you like, what's your end goal for this? Do you want people to just know that they exist? Do you want to find out what happens on the afterlife? Like, what's your reason that drives you? Because we have our reasons for doing what we're doing, and it's a rabbit hole either way. And we may not, may never know. We might just
Yeah.
do this forever and never have answers. But I know we feel like we're inching closer. But yeah, what's your reason for doing this?
I'm curious. That's
Mm-hmm.
probably my biggest thing is I want to know, and there's no concrete answers that you'll find, you could talk to a million different people that believe in ghosts. You'll get probably about a million different answers on what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find a lot of similarities, and there's a lot of experts that might agree on stuff, but you don't know. And I guess finding out more about these people, getting names, like that's my main thing is I want to get a name. I don't feel like I have those abilities. We work with some people that have those abilities to where they can kind of get names or like feel people or even like see through people's eyes, like get like I interviewed somebody who they were able to kind of see like, okay, I could see this is like a grandma figure to you. Um, and so I think that ability is great.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been gifted with that. So I'm a little unfortunate
That you know
in
of.
that department, but yeah, my gifts are a little different.
Well, I think the being closed off like you are is a gift in itself because I have the opposite. When I go out there, I feel too much and I feel like I open myself up too much, and it does cause me grief a little bit. So I tend to stay away from. It's hard to say because like I don't know where the malevolence is and where the good is, and that's kind of the struggle with anytime you ghost investigate, in my opinion. But the fact that you have yourself closed off is kind of a gift. It really is because you can keep doing this and nothing. It's like, oh, you're not invited, and they just know like they can't. There's no way to connect to you.
Hmm.
But that's why I was asked. Another reason I was kind of asking why you want to do this, because if you are, you know, closing yourself off, you may not get the answers you want, but at least you have a group that's willing to maybe do it with you and have their own skills that can hone in on whatever you're trying to learn from it. Um, but I find it very fascinating, all this stuff. That's why we love what we do because of this, you know?
Have you ever seen a full-bodied apparition? I wanted to ask you that.
No, I mean, I don't know. It's hard because I feel like I've seen shadows,
Mm-hmm.
but then if you guys have been investigating before too, you might have that where you're staring in the dark for a long time and you're like, is that moving? Is that not moving? Um, I'm gonna say yes at Fear Factory up in the rafters that I've seen something, but again, I always like to debunk first, so I'm gonna say yes, but it's possible that my eyes could have been playing with me.
Would you say that's the best place to go in Utah as far as where you've been with the most activity?
Yeah, Fear Factory or Solitaire,
Okay.
definitely are good. I would say they're a good first place to go because those are the places where nothing's guaranteed, but I think you have a higher chance of catching something if you go to
Have
those
you
places first.
have you been to Kay's Cross or Old Mill? Those are two that are pretty popular in Utah as well.
I've been to K's a few times.
Mm.
A lot of the recent K's investigations, they kind of I've been to most of them because it only recently started opening back up for investigators.
Okay. What
Yeah,
did you
that place is weird because there's rumors that there was some satanic cultish activity that sort of started going crazy in the 80s, like during the Satanic Panic and stuff over there. And then it's been through a lot of, I think, a couple different ownerships over the course of time. But yeah, that place is interesting. And there was, I always tell people this because I think, but I don't think I've ever told it on the podcast. But there was this guy that used to like dress in these crazy, like full armored outfits and like ride a horse like through that, like
the
what is it?
pasture basically
I
right
guess
there?
it's like a gully or canyon type
Hmm.
thing that's right there. And he would just like ride around in these extravagant, creepy looking costumes with like skeleton masks and everything. This was like in the 70s. And I'm only bringing this up because maybe you know because you're kind of a history guy. But if you go talk to the library over there at Kaysville, they'll kind of tell you about it. And I don't remember the dude's name, but they knew his name and everything. And he was just the guy that would just try to scare people, like make kind of bring more fear out of that Case Cross
Yeah,
area.
so like how much of it is real and how much
Right.
of it is just like lore, you
Yeah.
know? Like Ted Bundy's house, right? This is another one. Ted Bundy had a house downtown, like Marmalade District, where I used to work. And I don't know, I don't think you can get into it to ghost investigate, which is tough, but imagine the amount of like and I don't think he killed anyone in that house, but there's still that energy, right? So I don't know, that's what's weird is like the energy thing always blows me away. I guess that's my biggest thing. It's like how is it that some of us carry more and some of us don't, and it imprints on stuff. And I think that's just a really cool thing to investigate.
Yeah.
Um, I want to ask you, David, too. Um, what's your favorite tool when you're doing ghost investigations? Because I like the SLS camera. I think that's really cool. But I don't know how it works, and we actually haven't used it. Well, I know how it works, but we haven't actually used it. I just like that it maps something out, and it's like, whoa, that's crazy. But I also enjoy like the old Sony, like just the standard EVP recorder.
Yeah, I'm a traditional
Um,
EVP guy.
and we've used this app. It's called like
The Spirit Box or the
Spirit
Spirit Talker?
Spirit Talker. It's
Yeah.
the only one that I've noticed seems to work really good. But what's your favorite tools and why?
I would say like it's good to listen to yourself. So your body is probably your best tool because that's where you're gonna get your feelings. You're gonna see your shadows and stuff. If we're talking about like tools, definitely like if I go anywhere, EVP recorder because that's the one where I can set it down, talk for a minute, and it's crazy when you listen back and you hear something that was not there. Um,
Yeah, it's nice that you can just play it back right there
yeah,
too.
Are
You
you
know?
using a digital recorder or is it like an analog or like a tape recorder type thing?
it's a digital.
Yeah.
I forget what brand, but it was off Amazon. It was like 30, 40 bucks.
We probably have the same one.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
They work. They what's really cool about EVP is, and I don't have as much success with like my iPhone, for example, just doing the recording, but I have like one of our EVPs is from that.
Yeah, we caught
But
some good stuff not too long ago, actually.
yeah, so I think I honestly don't think it really matters what you have. I think it just matters sort of the intention and that you're there and you're asking the right questions and stuff, especially if there's something legitimately intelligent there that's wanting to speak and talk, you're going to get some, hopefully you're going to get some responses if you're open enough.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's really cool that you're interested in that. EVP is a really cool one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you've said is legit. I mean, the body is the biggest part, right? That's like the part that really matters when you're out here doing this. Like,
You can
if
always feel when there's something around
yeah,
if you're paying attention, you
and
know.
even people that don't believe, like, they'll run into something that just changes their paradigm. Like, I feel like you know, you can feel it because I'm a feeler, because I have that vibe. I can just instantly when I go into a place, I'm like, oh,
There's something
I feel
here.
sick a little bit. I feel weak. I know there's something, either a really bad tragedy or I'm about to get picked on. So I feel that stuff pretty fast. But yeah, it's really intriguing. And we've taken stuff home when we've done investigations. Like I've had to kind of clear my house out a couple times. So that's why I was asking about that earlier. But yeah, I mean, what's your future goals and plans with this kind of stuff? Like where are you trying to go with it? And are you trying to stay in Utah, or are you going to continue to do further investigations? Like what are you excited about coming up, and where are you going with all this with Spooky Utah?
So when I started originally, it was just like it wasn't even called Spooky Utah. It was just like it was something dumb that I just, pulled out of thin air just to post evidence on TikTok. I just kind of wanted to put my stuff out there for people. The first one I posted got like 1,000 views on TikTok, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So I just kept posting, and then I just kind of forgot about it. Now with as big as it's kind of getting, and not saying big like nationwide, but big like to where, decent amount of the people in Utah in the community know me.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to organize. I like to do team building. I touched a little bit about the Idaho investigation. That one was all team building. It was a pay your way to get in, so everybody had to pay their. It was like $50 is what it came out to for per person. But it was just a big team meetup. It was a team meetup, investigation, and then hangout, whatever you want to call it. But it brought a lot of teams together that people didn't know, people weren't familiar with. There were some new teams that I met there, and it was a really good time. I hopefully can keep doing something like that going forward. I'm looking into planning another one next year for some other names that weren't able to make it out to this one. Um, the plan with TikTok and like maybe traveling. So Wisconsin, I didn't go to Wisconsin just to investigate, but it was a family thing there.
Mm.
And so it became okay, well, I know some teams from Wisconsin. So I hit them up, asked them where's some good spots, got some spots, and then we made it happen. So that's my plan is I want to build a big enough community to where, let's say I go to South Carolina, for example, that I can, oh, I know this team from South Carolina, or, close enough to it to where it's like, hey, well, I'm out there for this or that. Can we maybe hit up a spot or two, maybe do an investigation here or there? And then we kind of both get some content out of it, get a meetup there too. And just community. That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, it's funny how these questions we have as people not knowing exactly what we're living in, like what our universe is all about and kind of what we're dealing with here. The questions are cool that it brings us together sometimes. That
Mm-hmm.
there's this community, this sense of community, and we've seen it just in doing this, just how cool it is that there's different factions. There's like the Bigfoot people and there's like the UFO people and stuff, but there's even those that kind of bridge all the gaps too, and I like
Yep.
that. But that's super cool. And I had one question for you that's sort of different from that. I want to ask you about AI. It's weird because we're living in this era now where we're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the AI, and it feels like it's being used for everything. Are you concerned or worried about it affecting the legitimate, ghost evidence and stuff? Because we're already starting to see some of that.
I think it does definitely, like, you have to be very careful because there are the people that are ready fake evidence, and that kind of sucks because then it's if let's say you're a new person getting into it and you're like, oh, they faked it, so this stuff is all fake anyways. Um, I feel like that's where it does hurt the community, and it falls on us to really, I guess, put the real stuff out there and be as legit and clear as we can with it. But it's a tool that you can use for good, for sure, to help you out. I've used it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna say I've never used AI, but I don't use it on my videos. I don't use it on to enhance evidence or anything. The most I'll do, put it in a video editor and turn the volume up to get my evidence louder. But yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of and to kind of keep in the back of your mind when you're looking at any evidence.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is cool because the more you document, like the more forms of documentation, like if you have a group of people and they've got different angles of the same thing, let's say like a couple of you guys are filming or taking pictures, and then You also have like the audio version that's, maybe from different versions, like a couple different people have the same audio. Like that's going to be hard to fake, I think, and people are going to be able to see through that. Same with like photo evidence and stuff too. If
Hmm.
you got multiple angles from different people, like sure AI can try to do some of that. And then if you have a long format video too, like I think AI can do some of that, but you're going to be able to see through it if it's real or not. And I think hopefully it'll be like that forever, but I'm scared about AI. Like I'm like
Yeah,
because I love this world and I want people to know that there really is something happening out there with when it comes to the spirituality of things and ghosts and the afterworld.
well,
So
I'm starting to call it apparition intelligence because I'm kind of starting to get a little weirded out that it's kind of creating its own mindset. So like
yeah,
it's learning from what we want it to do and then it's changing it and it's not listening to commands as much. And there's a lot of people that are starting to believe that there is something going on where something's getting a hold of it that's from another otherworldly, if you will.
yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think of that? Do you think that's a possibility? Like, we're all new to this AI stuff, but do you think that's a possibility at all?
I think it's all on the table. As new as AI is to how like the commercial users are able to use it, like how now everybody can use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's a lot of red flags to where it can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely with like the it's not like a hacking in the general sense, but like how you were saying about the like otherworldly or different, planes being able to kind of influence that. I think it definitely it could happen. It could be there. We don't have a lot of information on AI yet. Like we're
Yeah.
in the very first stages of it. I know even 2 years ago it was like very poor AI.
Yeah.
You would if you anybody used AI, it was very, very, very obvious. And now it's like sometimes you gotta double take or watch a video a couple times to figure out
Yeah.
like,
It's
is
getting
this
too
real? Is
real.
this not real? And
Yeah.
um like with my evidence, that was pretty good. I've gotten a few on TikTok live. So it's like there's actual people watching me when I hear it, and I'm like, let me listen back to that later, and then I'll go and clip it and post it on TikTok, and there's some evidence. Um, but yeah, I think it's definitely if somebody's brave enough to try to AI evidence, I hope they I guess get what's coming to them when it comes to views and where people won't really contribute to them or
Mm-hmm.
support
Well,
those kinds
what's
of
interesting
channels.
too is like I guess you can like share videos or pictures into AI and ask it if it's AI. And I think it has to be truthful, but again, who knows what's influencing these things, but I've done that a couple times and it'll say like, yeah, this is AI or like no, this isn't according to what we can tell. So like maybe it'll continue to do that, but I don't know, it's just making things less trustworthy, but I think the more you go out there and like you establish what you're about and people know like I think that's cool. And then you have like the whole group of people too that are all involved
Yeah.
in filming the same things and stuff. So I know it's one of those things I wanted to ask just your thoughts on it because it's gonna ruin some things I think in our world. But
But I do think we'd be dumb to, you know, all of us are using tools to investigate ghostly situations, right? And when we do that, it's electronics that we're using,
yeah.
right? So how would we not assume that AI could do this, that the spiritual realm could tap into AI the same way? That's how
Hmm.
they communicate anyway with us, is in most cases is through electronics, right? So I don't
Yeah.
know, it's weird. We're definitely playing with fire a little bit, but I think it's we'll see how it goes, right?
Yeah, and you bring up a good point about that because like there's a lot of equipment that's based on spirits or any kind of energy manipulating the
Hmm.
technology to get it to work.
Yep.
Um so that is a I've never thought about that before you said that, but yeah, we do focus on our technology that we do for ghost hunting where it's like can you manipulate that to make it make this sound or can you cuz there is certain ones where it's like they'll touch a certain bulb for whatever their answer is, like it's a green, green or red bulbs. Can you go and manipulate that and touch the red one to like push it down to where it lights up and it connects to the battery?
Hmm.
And so it's definitely a something to kind of think about now that you said that.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of manipulation with technology and the spiritual realm
Yeah,
already.
it's using like waves that we don't, even though we know technology, we're still kind of even new to that. Like if you think about it, we started doing this in like the early 90s where really like technology started taking off and the internet. And now you can see what the internet's really kind of gotten to. and now AI is where it's a new thing, and that the AI is going to open up another huge door, and it makes me wonder. It's like, since you're a history buff, there's pictures of petroglyphs and stuff where there's like this dude in like a spaceship, and he's like, it looks like he's looking at a tablet, and this is what like old native peoples from that time etched into a rock.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And I'm like, and then it goes back to like, again, I don't know what your belief systems are, but there's the whole Bible verse with what's his name, Solomon, which was supposed to be the wisest man of all time, David's son. Speaking of David, and he said there's nothing new under the sun, and that's always stuck with me, that one verse, because it's like, man, what if we're just recycling again?
Yeah.
What if all this already happened and they had tablets and they had all these crazy things, and we messed with AI and AI messed with us, and then we got ruined, and now we're going back. I don't know. I know I'm losing my mind with all this, but what's your thoughts on all that? Because I know you're a history buff. Do you think that's a possibility?
It's definitely is, because I used to go down those rabbit holes when I was younger too, where I'd go look at the like the Egypt, the carvings and stuff, and I'd see the airplanes, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of strange. Or I remember watching this one where they found out that they used to have batteries, like in
Mhm.
ancient Egypt, like two to 4,000 years ago. They used to use some kind of like citrus acid and put it in a vase and do this other stuff, and it basically would make a battery. And it's like, well, what were they using a battery for 4,000 years ago?
Yeah.
Um, and Ephenomicon, me and Giorgio, I don't know if you guys got to meet him or talk to
No,
him from
we
ancient.
didn't. Unfortunately, no. But
Yeah, we talked for about an hour, and he that guy's off the charts with his, that's his job to know all that stuff. But like, it's just crazy the conversations you can have about that with him.
oh yeah, he's all
Um,
about ancient aliens, but he's not
yeah,
about his hairdo. He's definitely not about his hair.
it's his. Yeah, it's his style now. So
Well,
That's
I
awesome.
think I think you bring up a good point, because, and that's the point I'm making, is like, it's weird because, like, what's your thoughts on the, I know we're going down different rabbit holes than Spooky Utah right now, but what's your thought on the pyramids? Like, how the heck were the pyramids built, in your opinion?
I don't know. I
But you're
that
bringing up a
it's
battery. Maybe they used something that we didn't know
yeah,
about,
it's crazy because like I've seen so many theories about it where it's like, even when I was younger, I'd watch videos where it's like, oh, giants helped to build them because look at this doorway, look at how big it is. And
Hmm.
so for a minute, I was like, okay, that's probably what it was. And then I'd see something a couple years later where it's like, okay, this is what they use these pulley systems and everything. And I mean, that's what they'll say on the science side of it, or the history side of it, is that they use all these pulley systems. But to especially the biggest one, to finish that in 20 years with as heavy and big
Yeah,
and precision, to where you're building a pyramid from the ground up over 20 years, you're not going to have the same exact people working on it. You make one mistake at that bottom layer, you're going to see it at the top, and they're like perfect.
yeah.
um
Not to
that's
mention why there's
one.
pyramids
Yeah.
too. That's another thing. There's so many of them everywhere, not
And
just
in different
Egypt.
places. And there's a specific wood, especially with the one in Egypt. There's a specific wood that's from the Grand Canyon. That's only in the Grand Canyon, but that wood was found in that pyramid. So that's a weird thing too, to make some of the pillars and stuff. So I don't know. It's weird. We're going down different rabbit holes, but I think it's cool because you're such a history guy too, and I just thought I'd get some of your take on other things that aren't just ghost related. What I guess what do you think about, like, what's your take on the UFO phenomenon and like the alien situation? What do you think that's all about?
I think there could be some legitimacy there. I kind of stay out of there.
Hmm.
I don't do too much digging in there because there's a lot. There really is a lot. Um I think the government's kind of come out and said that UFOs are real already, I think a few times now.
Hmm.
Um I I guess my concern, or my disconnect would be crashes. Because at least for me, my mind doesn't. I can't get around the idea that there's this spaceship from however many galaxies or whatever away that can has a technology to fly into our planet, atmosphere, all that within their lifetime, and then it just crashes. Um,
Yeah.
that's my only concern, is that it's like, and maybe you guys can educate me on that. Maybe there's more theories or reasons why, but I just for me, that's what's never made sense is the crashes. I believe there are the UFO sightings. Um, I forget the guy's name. He was the one in the booth next to us at Phenomenon. He was showing us some pretty cool clips from that he had personally got out in Vernal of UFO
It was
sightings and
Jaren. It was
stuff.
the other Jaren, JJ, right?
Yeah, he had all the Bigfoot stuff.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
JJ.
he's awesome.
We're gonna
Yeah,
do an investigation, a Bigfoot investigation with him pretty soon, I think. So,
yeah. He I bought a hoodie from him. The it was the Respect the Locals.
Oh yeah,
I
It
that
like
was
was
it.
cool.
with the Sasquatch on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he showed me some pretty compelling stuff from even previous years at Phenomicon when he'd just be out there filming or whatever.
Mhm.
So I definitely believe that's real. Um, I just don't do too much digging into it because you can go on forever. Same thing with Sasquatch, all that stuff. There's millions of loopholes you can go through and rabbit holes, and you'll be there all day.
Are you open to the possibility of it being connected to the spiritual realm in some way?
I'm open to anything. I'm I'm like I'll be open to anything unless there's a reason for me to not be. Like if I can concretely say something doesn't exist, then yeah, I won't be open to it unless but even then I'll still be open to have my mind changed. But I have my beliefs, but like if I were to let's say go, Bigfoot hunting with you guys and I see something that's like that's not normal. That's not an animal, that's not a dude, then yeah, that's definitely like a for me my proof. I'm a proof guy. Even with
Yeah.
ghost hunting, I needed some kind of
Seeing
proof
is
to get me
believing,
into it.
right? It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Seeing or hearing or whatever, being an actual advocate of what happened. And I understand that. And that's what's tough about some of this stuff is like, because I've had a Bigfoot experience, and so I'm pretty and with all the evidence and stuff. So I am a pretty heavy believer in it too. But I don't know, man, it's weird. It's like why is there suppression of all this kind of stuff with the government side of things and it's not only Bigfoot, it's the UFOs. And why are they opening up the UFO conversation now?
Yeah.
I always
A
ask
lot of
those
questions.
questions too because I don't fully trust our government anyway. But I think it's
I don't know, but
intriguing to talk about all
I
this
think
stuff.
that's what makes you good. Probably makes you a great investigator. We got to go on an investigation with you, but that's
Yeah,
really
definitely.
cool that you're open to anything because you're not going to lead the evidence any direction. You're just going to
Mhm.
let it play out and let it tell you where to go. And that's the best investigators in any way, whether
Yeah.
you're a detective, investigating a homicide or doing this spiritual investigation, ghost investigation. So that's really cool. I'm excited to get out there with you because if that's how you are, you're not going to point us in any like weird direction because you see that sometimes with investigators. You see it on the show
Yeah.
sometimes. So that's really cool. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
so where are we going? What do you, I guess, where's the spot that you haven't been to that you're excited to go to? Do you know of any that you're ready for?
I hear a lot about different spots that are like new. Any spots that I've already been to, besides like Fear Factory, because that one is like kind of exclusive to Grimm's.
Hmm.
I can get you guys into pretty much anywhere. There. Okay, so I kind of lied. Well, not lied, but it's in Nephi, the Whitmore Mansion. That's the one I want to get into next year.
Okay.
They do Airbnbs out of it now. So once they post their schedule, we're gonna try to book it up and then just split with three other three other people, and then I'll spend the night, I'll investigate, and then see how it is.
That
Yeah,
sounds
that
cool.
sounds great. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll have to be in contact and see if we can make something work. But I mean, you can go to any small town and you're gonna find a story or rumbling of something. I mean, the best evidence we caught, the most recent thing we posted on our YouTube and stuff was that Schofield School one, and there was definitely some good evidence there. And that's obviously a mining disaster that went horribly wrong, but that's the cool thing about small towns is there's always something like that. So definitely, man, we're excited to get together more often. Is there anything you want to plug? I mean, we're getting kind of towards the end. Do you want to say
Wait,
something
I
real
have
quick?
one question.
Yeah, yeah,
One last question.
yeah.
I wanted to ask you about Ouija boards and what your thought is on Ouija boards. If you use them, and
I'm
also if you just stay completely away from them.
I've never used them, but I'm open to them. I would want to see people use them blindfolded. That way, there's no kind of somebody playing around. Because that's the biggest thing, right? Is not knowing if, okay, I'm not moving it, but maybe this other dude with me is.
Hmm.
And I don't think the people we investigate with would try to, make fake evidence like that. but I think it's also a way to where, let's say, you're able to post it, because nobody's gonna, you can use a Ouija board to post evidence, and you can make it say whatever you want. But if you're blindfolded, I think it makes it a little bit more legit, to where you have to maybe watch it back afterwards and see what it spelled out, or maybe have somebody looking above and kind of telling you what it's saying,
Yeah.
or even just having a camera pointed right over it.
Have you ever
Um,
tried the Estes method, that where they blindfold you with the headphones?
I want to.
Yeah, that
I
one's
I've
pretty cool.
been yeah, it is cool because you're shutting off your senses, so you're just focusing on hearing what's coming out of there, and it's one that I haven't tried. I want to try it. I haven't got to investigate as much as I wanted to this year. We've done maybe 6 privates this year, which may sound like a lot, but it to me, I wish I was out there almost every night, but
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah.
we're gonna try to plan some more, and I'll also shoot you a text and let you know which ones we're doing this year for sure, and then if
Okay.
you guys want to tag along or anything.
We haven't done the Estes method yet either, but it's definitely one when I watch those shows, I'm like, man, that's pretty legit. Because how could you fake that? Like you're saying, you're shutting down all your senses, and I love it because they'll just say like a random word, and it's like, dude, that's
Yeah,
exactly the question I asked, and that's creepy.
yeah.
But yeah, man. What do you want to plug? Like any other questions you have?
No, I don't have any more.
Do you plug wherever you want, and I appreciate you being a part of it. Is there something you want to, I guess, want to end on?
Um, just that I wish anybody that is in the community and that does listen to this, or might even hear just maybe this clip, um, just work together. That's what it's all about. It's about working together, because when you divide, then you get these groups where it's like, okay, this place is exclusive to
Yeah.
so and so, or this group has this place, so you have to go through them. I want it to where we just help each other. It's oh, you want to come investigate here? We got you. Let it. Next time, take us to wherever you got, and just have a big community, because that's what it's about. It's about working together, not working against each other. We all have the same goals. So that's what I kind of want people to take from this.
And
Love it.
again, you can be found on Spooky Utah if they type in Spooky Utah on YouTube, TikTok, and where else?
Instagram?
Yeah. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. So it's Spooky Utah 22. It's all one word, no spaces, just 22. And then any of those should have the link tree, and that'll take you directly to anything else you need to find.
Okay.
And you found it if you have the little, like, the ghost logo, the little white ghost logo. Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
you
The
you
Spooky
you have
Utah
this guy. I don't know
red.
if
Yeah.
you're gonna post this or not, but
Yeah, we will
Yeah, if you're
if
cool
you're
with it, we'll
with
do
it.
the video too. Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
There
it'll be
you
like
go.
Oh,
this.
there
There
you
you go.
go.
You can find it right there. Everyone hurry, scan that QR code quick.
Yeah, I love it.
But no, I appreciate you being on. Thanks for taking your Saturday. You could be doing a million other things, but we appreciate you taking the time. And I love what you just said because,
Me too.
man, egos. I don't know what it is
Egos
about
get in
this.
the way all the time.
It's everything, but for some reason in this world, there's like this weird ego. Like it could be the smallest thing where it's like, oh, Bigfoot's flesh and blood, Bigfoot's a supernatural being, and now they're just not willing to talk. And
Yep.
it's like, why? Why not? Let's talk until we figure out what this is, right? And even still, let's talk. Like it doesn't matter. And I'm the same way with the ghostly thing with everything, right? Like I can, like one thing I don't get behind is the Ouija board. I don't even want to mess with it. But I
Yeah.
like what you said about it because you're probably right. In some ways, we don't know exactly what this is, and I don't know. So I think I like what you said, and appreciate you taking the time. I'm excited to do some investigations with you very soon, and maybe we'll have you on again, and we'll post some videos when we do our investigations. That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I look forward to it. You guys seem pretty cool, and you guys already know how to investigate, so it's not like taking out a bunch of beginners. And any equipment we have, you guys can borrow too while we're out.
Awesome.
It's yeah, it really is just we always have a good time. Sometimes we do more talking than investigating when we go out there. So um,
It's all part
bring
of it.
bring some snacks, bring some drinks. We always have a good time.
Love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
All right, man. Well, thanks again, and
Thank
have a
you.
great rest of your night. We'll hit you up as soon as it's done, and we appreciate you being a part of the Supernatural Station. Have an awesome
Yeah,
night, man.
thank you guys for having me.
All right,
Yeah.
we'll
Take
see you
care.
around.
See ya.
All right, see you.